Paper is such a unassuming material. You see it every day. Everywhere you go there's paper, but you don't really notice it. But I love that it's something that you could then create all these amazing shapes. But you have to care about getting things right. Sometimes if a paper is quite thin, you have to treat it so delicately that you really have to take your time and work with how it behaves. I'm Kyla McCallum. I'm a paper artist from Scotland, but based down in London. Every sort of so often you get a project where you know quite quickly that you'll be excited about it. Lexus asked me to design a paper car version of the UX 300e, incorporating different sort of paper cutting techniques and origami, and create a paper city as well. So we're going to shoot the car going through this city made completely from paper. The project was to sort of reflect the craftsmanship that goes into the Lexus vehicles. Origami is like a skill where you have to be precise and technical. So they have this thing where they fold an origami cat with their non-dominant hand. Once I ordered the paper and sat down to begin, I had a bit of a panic. I think was that I realised how curved a lot of the elements are of the car. It's quite an unusual shape to create. The project started about 4 months ago. So the design process we worked on for about a month, and then I've been making for about 2 months so far, and about another month to go, just under a month. At the moment I'm up to the stage where the sort of core of the car is built. I've got the base and the majority of the body parts, but I need to join that all together and to be able to do the small details like the lights and the roof and put in the windows. In the end, I think the whole car will be made from roughly 100 different parts. For the car, I mostly used 120 GSM paper, so it's quite thin, but it allowed for all the curved elements, so it worked really well for that. For the buildings, I used a lot of 300 gram paper to make them a lot stronger and to get really sort of sharp, straight lines. It's going to be really nice to see it all come together and to have the buildings all laid out in formation and have the lights come on. I'm really looking forward to that moment. It's going to be fun. I'm kind of in shock that it's all done. It seems like a bit of a dream that it's actually finished. Yesterday we started pretty early. We had to unpack everything, and all the origami facades had to be assembled on site. The final set looks quite similar to how I had planned in the first place. The colours and everything with the lighting, it really changes it and makes all the textures come out. There's quite a few different techniques that I had to use for the project. There are parts where it's more purist origami, where I've created sections with just folded patterns and creasing. Definitely a huge challenge to create some of the parts to the car that were more sort of using curved folding and techniques that I don't get to use so often. The grille, it was made with a kirigami technique. I used sort of parallel cut lines and tried to get like the angle of the grille where it sort of tapers at the top and at the bottom. The seats I really enjoyed. I'd made chairs before, so it felt quite a familiar sort of shape, even though the design is a bit more contoured. I really enjoyed creating the textures, the sort of stippling effect for the leather work in the seats. For the interior, it was actually quite tricky deciding what size to make it. I had to tweak the scale of the interior quite a lot. There's so many little tiny buttons to get them at that tiny little scale. That was quite hard for the interior. It's definitely one of the toughest projects I've ever done. So many elements needed to come together at the last minute. Definitely been worth it.